Top of the day to you on this inspirational journey. We are here live once more. This is our second time around. I had some issues. It was telling me that our connection was unstable. So I decided to go out and then come back in. So here we are. So I must tell you, top of the day, all you my honey bunnies. I hope you had a prosperous day. And I hope it was a blessed day. So therefore, we're gonna go forward to try to clean up ourselves a little bit more because this is a new year, a new cycle, a new time for us. And we want to be better. We want to do better in our lives. We tired of the same old cycle. We say, and it never get done. We set goals or aspirations or resolutions, and we never meet them. But this is 2026. So therefore, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to push and press our way to reach our goals according to how we was created, according to how we was made in whatever image that we desire to be in. Okay, so here we are is facing ourselves. We faced ourselves and we discovered that, we had to make a decision on what do we look like? What do we want to look like? And is there a change? Is the negatives and positives? What do you do with those? Then you need to write them down, set your goals, not resolutions. You're going to set goals because this is a lifestyle change. This is just not for, a run of the mill, meaning like we just doing things just to be doing it, and then we'll start and we never finish. We never accomplish nothing. At least you can say that this time, this cycle, that you had a whole bunch of completions instead of incompletes. Okay. So we also talked about how to get rid or how to avoid the differences in our lives. And scripture, it would say sins, but things that we put against ourselves that we say that we was going to do and we did not do them. We look like that we was fake or our word is not our bond because sometimes people, would say things, but they don't do them. So you already know we will put those people into a category, but are we in that same category? Do we put ourselves in that category of, being who we say we are? Or are we just look on one way, but actually we a different way? Have you ever thought about that? How do you look? What is your integrity? That is one of the things that we need to talk about. So integrity is what do you do when people are not looking? Do you do the right thing, or you do things to get by, things to cheat the system and have people thinking like, oh yeah, and then actually you did all kinds of cut corners in order to be great. So what does that look like? What do you call that? This is righteousness. How do you learn righteousness when facing yourself? Okay, so after you have decided what you want to look like, what do you think about yourself? Because some people may not have high esteems. Like I had went through a period. I mean, you wouldn't think so, but I did go through a period of low self-esteem. I never thought highly of myself than I ought to. I never thought much of myself than I ought to. I felt, abandoned or unloved, and I am loved. I just didn't feel because I felt like whatever I thought in my mind what love's supposed to be, this is what I thought. So if I'm not getting that, then I feel that I wasn't loved, and that's not true. Because love is love. It don't necessarily have to be what in my mind that I thought it is. And sometimes we are like that. We are like that. So how do we learn, to do righteousness? So therefore, what is in our body makeup? What is in ourselves? Since we're facing ourselves and we're trying to create an image or create what we supposed to be like. So what are we doing with that? What type of image do you have for yourselves? Okay. So you just welcome to our live chat today, so make sure that, you sign in and like and follow, that we may go forth to be great together. All right. So it's about facing yourself. And today's topic in facing yourself has to do with learning how to do righteousness. Do people look at you to say that you are bad, bad, bad to the bone, or that you're a good person, or you have a righteous life? Meaning, do you do the right things, or are you wicked? You're known for just being a bad boy, being a bad girl. Are you known for, um, you know, thieving or breaking the rules, instead of abiding by what you need to abide by? And then, is that type of life that you want to live? First, you have to decide about yourself. Who do you really want to be? Who are you? Where are you going in life? Do you think that you're not gonna matter in life, that you're just gonna go through life and whatever happens, that is no life. That is no life. Matter of fact, that's like almost downright depressing. And some of us are like that. I mean, I've been in and out of it, feeling depressed, feeling lonely, feeling unwanted, undeserved, feeling, all these feelings. We always love to be in our emotions, and our emotions would have us, everywhere. So we need to kind of rein them in, have control. So in this control, you must control yourself first. Deal with self, face self. So let's talk about how can we do with this righteousness. So in my workplace, we have like core values. And so one of the core values is about respect for the individual. So I need to have respect for myself first, because when they see me, am I gonna, you know, be any kind of way? Then I need to have respect for others. It's about treating others as if you want them to treat you. So if you want people to treat you bad, and that's how you treating others, whatever you give, that's what you're gonna receive. And that's just life be life in. And then sometimes you have those that would bless you anyway, because you know what, I'm above that level. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, I don't have to level down to you, you know. So therefore, you can stay where you are, and I meet you where you are, and I'll leave you where you are, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So that is so amazing. So I have respect for you, and that's about listening to others, even though. And the other thing is to agree to disagree. Like I can agree to disagree with you. You could be right, I could be wrong, whatever. But I know eventually, if I tell you something, it's gonna come back around. You're gonna see it again. So that's on your body, and that's what I say. So the other thing is about integrity. So everybody should have integrity. Integrity is, who are you and what do you do when people are not watching? Do you do the wrong thing even though you know the right thing to do? If you at work, do you continue to work, or do you try to get out of working, regardless of whether you don't have the respect not only for yourself, but now you done disrespected the people who you work with. So now they looking at you, and you thinking that you all what's up or whatever, that you have this righteousness on you, but you still do like unrighteous stuff. You still don't have no integrity about yourself. And we don't look at you as if you have integrity, but you have to do the right thing when no one else is looking. It's up to you. But this is part of you facing yourself. This is part of you trying to be a better you. Some of these things that you need in order to grow, to get where you want to be. Even if you want to be famous in life and you're trying to get this, you still will have to have some kind of importance about yourself. You still have to have some type of integrity about yourself when people want to hire you, or if you become celebrities. What kind of stature, what kind of look do you have to make me want to invest in you? So that's what it's all about. It's an investment. You have to invest in yourself before others invest in you. Sometimes people just invest in you and they give you an opportunity, and what do? You spit on it. You spit on it and try to, get around of doing what you actually supposed to do. And does that look good on you? And do you think that look good on you in the world? No. That means you're not gonna go no further than what you are. I hate to tell you that, but the truth is the truth. Okay, and that's what we're all about. Helping you get to the way that you want to be, but you have to do it in the way. And then telling you the truth about the truth, of which way you're going or which way you're not going. And then it's about life, that you may experience a beautiful life, or you're gonna have a hard knock life, But the whole choice is about you facing yourself, you fulfilling what you desire to be in life. All right. So, and then it's about you, I guess, treating others around you, how you want to be treated. So that says a lot. It's still about righteousness. It's still about self evaluation. It's about facing yourself. You have to decide, and I know it's hard, and I know it's a lot, but you have to make the decision on whether you want to stay stuck where you are or go further in life. All right. So after you make this decision about yourself, you need to look at what else is stopping you or hindering you from getting to where you need to go in life. All right. So it's about in this world, God tried to help us. When he created this heaven and earth, he created commands and laws to govern not only being in the presence of each other, being in his presence, and about the way we live, how we want to live. That's the other thing, is about the way that we live. So how do you want to live? You have this image of how you want to live, but if you living with someone, or you living with your parents and you trying to get to where you need to go in life, this is your practice ground. That way, whatever you practice now and then you get out on your own, you have the same habits and ways. But if you don't clean up or sweep around your own front door in front of your own self, how you expect, your life to be, as glamorous as it is. So, like I had told you once before, it's about a practice. Some days you have hard days and you don't want to do nothing but lay down because you can't do nothing but lay down. And then in some days you need to, pick a couple of items and things and deal with that. And, to keep yourself in order. All right. Clean up as you go along the way. Also, it talks about, okay, as you face yourself and dealing with righteousness, we talked about beliefs. So what are your beliefs? What do you want to believe? What do you want your structure? When they call your name, when they say your name, what does your name look like, to others? Or even to yourself, because mainly you want to get yourself straight. You want to be okay with you. However you are, you want to be okay with however you are. And that's how you do it. All right. So, do you bow down to anything, images, meaning like, some people bow down to, oh, I have to have name brand, So you bow down to the images. You would do anything just to have a brand or to look like a certain thing. But you giving your everything to look that way and do that. But that's life that you can't live. So why are you trying to press your way to impress others who really don't care? They don't pay your bills. They don't help you. And you're trying to impress them for a look. So you have to decide what kind of look, what kind of person that you want to be, and stay in your lane. Do that. All right. So your next thing is about remembering how you misuse yourself, misuse other people's stuff. So how you can be responsible if you misuse other people's stuff, but you still want to be held accountable and you want all this other stuff. So if you can't handle your own stuff, how you gonna handle somebody else? Or if you handling the other people's stuff, how you gonna handle your own? Why would I sow money and seeds and different things into you if I know you're not good with where you at now. Like if you at work and you work in all kinds of ways, but at the same time, I want to make you responsible, but you can't be responsible because of how you handle business. And then you want to get mad because of other people looking at you differently. Now, you can't get mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to still face self. Look at self. But if you okay with how you are, then my God, have mercy. I'm just saying. All right. So, and then how you have respect for others, respect for yourself, respect for, um, other people's property when it comes to being righteous. Righteous is just a look, a way that you are. So as you face yourself, what kind of righteousness that you want to look like, how you want to, it's like righteousness is like integrity. What are you doing or however you want to seem when no one is looking? Are you the same person or you just put on that front? You know, okay, like example, sometimes I like my stuff to be clean and decent and in order whenever I'm working, but sometimes when I come home, I be like dead tired because I done gave all my energy and everything to my job, but I didn't leave any for myself. So next thing I know, I'm getting stuff in my house, clothes piled up, dishes piled up. But if I just go along and save some time to sow into myself, self-love, you gotta fight for self because that's what it's all about. Fight for self that you may have that self-love and that you may be able to accomplish both worlds, your work world and then your house world. That you may live, faithful, to both. Okay. So within your integrity, you got to have core values. What are your core values is? Do you, let's example, do you lie, cheat, steal, kill? Do you disrespect your beliefs? Do you even have any beliefs in life? And those are things that you have to evaluate and things that you will have to look at when it's come to righteousness, when it comes to investing like in yourself, when it comes to doing the right thing. Okay. What kind of desires do you possess? Anything that belongs to another person or not to your household or whatever, do you just take it? Or what do you do? Do you throw it away? Do you, save it for others? And I just want to talk about self, dealing with righteousness. So therefore, sometimes doing righteousness may not always bring you a good rapport, but at the end of the day, you have a peace about yourself because you have done the right thing. So that's what it is about righteousness. All right. So those are the things that we see that we have done when it comes about doing the right thing. Okay. So whenever you do the right thing, it's really up to you, about respecting yourself, respect for the individual, and then it's like obedience. This is something that you have to learn. Some things that you may already know to do, and things that you've been doing. You have to prioritize your relationship when it comes to yourself and then to others. You have to get yourself straight in order for to get everything else in order. So you have to take care of yourself, self-love, face yourself, look within, find out what are things that could be hindering you, from making you not be as successful as you desire to be. So you have to clean up your own self. And then you start planning the work and then work the plan. Nothing is not going to fall in your lap, like talking about. This is my practice time. This is my practice field. So therefore, later on in life, when the Lord see fit, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready. And hopefully you can look back on some of these, films and stuff to help you along your way. These videos is recorded for our future selves because these are testimonies and things that we need to help our future self with, because sometimes we'll forget some of the things that we said that we wanted to do, some of the things that we wanted to accomplish, and we always can go back and get it. All right. So this is for our future selves. Hey, future self. Hey, honey bunnies. I hope it would find you all well. So top of the day to you all. Okay. So it's about practicing humility. You have to be humble, because sometimes they always talk about pride always make you fall. There's always pride before the fall. When you humble, you will rise. So it's just crazy how that you know dynamic work. So if you got pride and you all puffed up, you ain't gonna stay there long. But if you humble, then you will always rise up, because you're humble about it. All right. So live out love. So what type of righteousness that you have that's marked with love for others? You have to live out righteous. Treat people as if they are you. Love your neighbor as if you love yourself. So anybody, don't have to be your next door neighbor. It just be people in general. You love them and treat them as if you want yourself to be treated. Now, not all the time that those people gonna treat you the same way that you treat them, but that's not my business. Okay, my business is to treat you right, and sometimes it makes me mad because I don't understand. I'm respecting you, but you treat me like dirt. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay because I'm in a forgiving business, because I know eventually the Lord gonna have favor and He gonna make it work. I'm just gonna stand still and He gonna do you in. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean no disrespect. It's just that's how it works. So okay, guard your heart, guard your mind. Your mind also can be influenced greatly. People can influence you to tell you things that's not going to help you along your way. They can tell you only things that could manipulate you and maneuver you to go the wrong way. But here I am, showed up. I am that reporter telling you about the way, the truth, and life, that you may be safe and you know how to navigate and maneuver through this world, as we go to and fro, because it's designed, and we are designed to make sure that we go through and we accomplish. But in order to do that, you must have tools. So we have to look at ourselves and how to learn how to do righteous, do righteousness, not only for ourselves, but for others too. That way we can have a safe passageway, as we go to and fro on this earth. All right. So practice love and compassion. That's part of your integrity. That's part of, your righteousness that you should do. All right. And we talked about humility and about teachings. So what type of teachings that you need to sow into yourself, to put in yourself, that it would be a natural thing, that you wouldn't have to work for it. So automatically you'll be naturally, this is what you want to do. So if you have these work ethics and you was trained to do this, and then now here you is somebody coming in that's different, somebody new, and they do differently, even though you see that's wrong, be obedient, do what you're supposed to do, have integrity about yourself, and do the right thing, and you go forth, because the righteousness is the only thing that's going to stand. And that's what you want to be, on the right side of righteousness. You don't want to be where, you have a negative vibe or a negative look upon you when people look upon you. Okay, you want to look different. You want to be different. This has been in your heart. This has been in your mind. This has been when no one don't see you. You have these moments, that you desire, but you don't know how to get there. You don't have the finances. You don't have the resources. But what you do have is the information. You could right now start with groundwork. You can go, you can Google, you can look up, you can search that these are the rules and the things that you need to do. And you work on these. Work within what you can, within, your realm, what you can master. You do that work now. So whenever you get money or you get to a level or whatever, then you be ready for that. But first, it start with the mindset. It start with facing yourself. Some things you are not prepared. You asking for it and you want to be there, but you're not prepared for it, because once you get there, are you going to be able to handle it? Are you going to be able to handle what is that you desire. Because sometimes we want this, we want the riches, we want the fame, we want the glory. But at the same time, when we get there, we may not succeed, or we may not stay there long because we didn't build our foundation on something solid. So whenever we stand, we can stand on all 10, you know. So people talk about, oh, stand on all 10. Yeah, but they don't tell you what all 10 is it that you need to stand on. It could be the doggone commandments. Because for one, that is part of your stand on all 10. You know, so once you stand on all 10 of those commandments, then you don't have no problem with anybody in this world. But they don't tell you that. They just tell you, oh, stand on all 10. And this thing about you beefing, you fighting, oh, you know, you gonna handle yours. Sometimes it's not about that. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. You have to learn how to do righteousness for facing yourself in order to glorify yourself, to get to a level where you desire to be. Okay, my love, honey bunnies, you get that future selves. Make sure you write that down because you need that. Because in this world is designed, you know, to be worldly. But because we are a spirit in this earth suit, okay, therefore we need to, it's a choice and it's a will. So you have good and bad in you. It's up to you which one that you want to fulfill. And that's part of facing yourself. That's part of avoiding some of the differences. Yesterday we called them sins, and it's just differences to go against what you desire to be in your life. All right. So today we're talking about the you know, the desire to learn how to do righteousness. So therefore we talked about avoiding different things that would get us caught up. So now we're talking about things that looks right, that we desire to do right. So that is what this segment is about. All right. So any questions, any comments, feel free to put them in the chat and we will go over them. Oh, I enjoyed yesterday reading with my cards. So guess what? We're going to have a card today. So this is our card. Okay, this is our card. It says, my past does not define me. So sometimes our past don't define us, but if we got a bad past and we done all kinds of stuff, we are like, you know, need some great change. So my past don't define me. Sometimes, you know, when I was younger, I did all kinds of things that was disrespectful. I could have done things that was not correct. And so therefore, all that negative stuff and the bad stuff I've done in my past, it doesn't define me. So I can walk away from that. I'm asking for forgiveness of anything that I've done to whoever. Please forgive me. And I don't need my past to define who I am. Because when you get up in life and you start being famous, the first thing people do is want to throw your past in your face. Okay. And some of this integrity, some of this facing yourself, some of this doing what is righteous, some of the stuff that's avoiding the differences in your life, that way you would look, you know, upon yourself like you have integrity. So some of that, you know, it do define your path, you know, but you got to understand that you should not allow it. My past do not define me. You know, please forgive me of some of the past ways that I did do, because not all the time that I was right, you know, because sometimes we were not told to, okay, we were told, but just we wouldn't explain the reason why we should not do whatever we wanted to do, you know, because later on that past start to define you, you know, people start looking like, oh, she always would be a trick, you know, you know, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Oh, she'll never mount up to be nothing. People would say these things, you know, not understanding that these things stick with us whenever we get older, but they just all this negativity instead of coming and teaching us, telling us what to do right. But nowadays you can't hardly say nothing to nobody because they would like pop off and pop out. You know what I'm saying? So, oh my word, have mercy. That's one of my words. Father. So I am worth more than diamonds. You are a diamond, even if it is in the rough. You are a diamond. So shine, you know, face yourself, get rid, add to, get rid of the differences, add righteousness to you. That way you can go forth to be all that you want to be. You want to go further than where you are. You don't want to stay stuck where you are, but you have all these aspirations and these dreams, but you don't know how to get there. The first thing on how to get there, you must start with yourself. Okay? And our last card for today is God is with us always, even whether it doesn't feel like it. So, on this inspirational journey, you're not alone. Here I am. Okay? We are together. We following the way, the truth. This design is, or this pathway may not be for everyone. It may just be for the few. Even though a lot of people is all about the chosen, all about the chosen. Many are called, but only a few are chosen. And even with those chosen ones, you got to face yourself. Even with those chosen ones, you must have integrity. Even with those chosen ones, you have to avoid or try to get rid of the differences in your life or anything that would break you down or not, you know, uh, give you a better passageway. And facing yourself has to do with learning how to do the right thing. So, blessings and peace and love unto you. This is the inspirational journey. I am that reporter reporting to you the way, the truth, and life. Blessings and peace unto you until we see each other again. Blessings. Yes, that's how we take it.